Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mismatched. So today we have my friend Melissa Leong here with us. Now she is a sought after speaker and national media personality and award-winning author. Casual. She's the author of the Feel Good Finance Guide, Happy Go Money, is a repeat guest on the Drew Barrymore Show on CBS, and serves as a resident money expert on Canada's leading daytime talk show, The Social. Now, she's the host of the award-winning business podcast, Money Moves, Conversations About Investing, and she's currently writing a children's book about money behavior because we all need to know more about money. My love don't cost a thing, but at the same time, it certainly does. Please welcome Melissa.
Thank you. I should have sent you a shorter bio.
No, not at all. Girl.
Oh my gosh, that's long.
I actually feel like that is a short bio because I think you could give me a lot more accolades that you have. So I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy I'm here.
So I've talked about money on the show. It's very interesting. Now, you know, we're in the new year and a lot of people, finance is at top of mind to like get, you know, money in order. But also it's a conversation that I think you could have anytime, especially when it comes to love.
I mean, I think you should have that conversation at any time. I think that it's never too early to have that conversation.
Okay, so that is my very first question is like, when do you bring up money in a relationship? Because so I have been in two different scenarios where I've dated and the breakup was over money after 3 years that had come up of like a point of, you know, having different ideals and expectations. And then I've like gone into a relationship being like, so where are you at? What do you do? How much you make? What's your debt? But that didn't work out either. So here we are.
Okay.
Help me, Melissa. Help me.
I don't think that you need to go on a Tinder date and ask someone how much they made.
Okay.
Or how much they made. But I also think that these kinds of money conversations can be a little bit more organic. So I'm going to say something that, I mean, I don't think it's controversial, but I want to know what you think about this. But who you choose as a partner is one of, if not the most important financial decision that you will ever make.
Oh, I love that. I leave the financial out of it normally when I say things like that, but it makes sense to include that because it is a legitimate investment.
It is. it has a lot of implications, which is why I think that money conversation is important at the beginning, because who you choose, I mean, couples who stay together longer, they accumulate more wealth in comparison to singles. That's according to research. Also, the dissolution of marriage, divorce, can obliterate a huge part of your wealth.
For sure. Divorce is expensive.
Yeah. And you're talking about when you said, hey, you had two relationships that broke up and money may have been an issue. You know, there was a recent survey that showed that 42% of divorcees in America that were surveyed as a part of this study said that money had to, you know, money and spending and debt played a part in their breakup. So if you want to be happy, and a happy partnership is a part of that kind of well-being, and money is one of the biggest conflicts that people have, you do have to make sure that you guys are on the same, not same page financially, but that you're willing to understand that each of you come to this story with your own books.
Yes.
And that you're going to write this book together. So you do have to talk about it.
For sure. And I think it's as you said, you know, money filters into so many parts of your life that it comes out in other ways. And that's why, you know, like for me, it was like the money conversation in my previous relationship was like a form of control. And like, but it also could be like a goal. And then in the last relationship, money was also a part of like goals and not being on the same page about goals and how to get there. So it's so interesting. It's not just about, you know, how much you have in your bank account or what you have in investments or how much you make. It's about the mentality and the mindset behind how you use your money or take care of your money.
And understanding that the person that you were with probably has a different mentality and mindset, different values, they're completely different people from different backgrounds. They're gonna have a completely different idea about it. And you have to be okay with going on this journey of exploration. So, I mean, when I say organic conversations, I mean not how much money do you make? What do you want to do? What's your 5-year plan? But even just rhetorical questions, even talking about your own money values, things that you experienced as a child, like those can be conversation starters. You're kind of doing a little bit of investigating without flat out asking, yo, how do you feel about debt?
Show me your bank statement now.
What do you value? What are you spending on? Show me your statements. But you're asking, okay, let's play a game. You have $10K and you have 3 hours to spend it.
Oh.
What do you spend it on?
Interesting.
Just like fun questions.
Yeah.
What would you do if you won the lottery? What would you do with $1 million? What if you were going to die tomorrow? What would you do with all your money? This is how you're just trying to tease out how somebody else feels, and it still feels fun to talk about.
Yeah, that's a bit of a lighter entrance. But once you're in the relationship or you're in, the commitment, then how do you bring up the more serious talks of like, okay, like we realizing we don't align on this, but how do we, how are we willing to meet?
Okay, so you're not always going to align.
No.
We can talk about conflict, or we can just talk about how to approach.
Let's talk about approach first and then conflict.
Okay. So I like to think of it as you and this person, you're gardeners, and you have come together to basically cultivate a garden. You're going to grow shit together. Okay?
Yeah, love it.
But you have different seeds. You might actually want to grow different things based on your experience, your history of what you're comfortable growing or what you believe is actually valuable to grow. You might also have habits of, say, I don't know, cutting off all the blooms before you get more.
Yeah.
Or whereas somebody's just hoarding everything, you're just going to have different approaches. But at the end of the day, you're trying to build something together.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand and be okay with the fact that somebody is going to grow a part of the garden differently, even though it might upset you. And so I'll give you an example of how different, because financial compatibility is not necessarily a thing. Like you're not always going to be on, you're not going to make the same amount of money.
Right.
You might not always have the same money values. So I'm the eldest daughter from a family of immigrants. I watched my parents work every holiday, every weekend at the restaurant. My mom would get angry at my dad if he bought the fancy toilet paper. So this is something that I learned very early on, that money is scarce. It's something to hoard. It's something to save. And if you get it, you don't spend it, even on yourself. Your butt doesn't get the nice paper.
Yeah.
You suffer. Whereas I married someone who loves to spend money because he is an entrepreneur from a family of entrepreneurs who have the abundance mindset of, yeah, well, you know what? We'll just make some more.
Yeah.
If it goes away, there's more.
Yeah.
Whereas I think,
that's so, what an interesting
oh my
dynamic.
gosh, we can't use any of it. And so Sean and I will have money arguments constantly.
That makes me feel better.
It doesn't
nice.
change.
That's nice.
I'm never going to change him, and he's not going to change. We can learn and we can understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And I can tell you so many conversations that we've had even in the last maybe week about where we disagree and where I'm trying to learn. So last week I was reluctant to spend money on something. And he said, this is for you. It's probably for your betterment. It's education. Also, 5 years from now, you're not going to remember you spent it.
Yeah.
So just do it. And I said, you know what? He's right. Even though it felt so wrong.
Yeah, that's so interesting. But at the same time, that's the concept too, I believe, in like the yin and yang. Like you need one person to be like that to rein someone in, but you need the other person to also like help let the person go. But like you said, the willingness to like understand and support needs to be there as like the basis to that.
So the yin and the yang is interesting because people who spend a lot of money often end up with people who are super frugal.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying.
I think there's this idea of like, oh, he spends, it's exciting. And she saves, how responsible and disciplined. And so there's great qualities there.
Yeah.
But actually in reality, it causes conflict.
Really?
So the research has shown that yay, yin and yang when it comes to money, but boo, you guys are going to fight.
you're going to fight like all the time.
So
and you just have to know it.
You have to be okay with that. So I'm going to give you the secret ingredient. Okay. This is the recipe for financial health in a relationship.
Leaning in.
Okay?
Tell me.
Yeah. It's 3 C's.
Okay.
Curiosity, conversation, and connection. So the first one is curiosity. If you ask more questions than you answer, if you always try to keep an open mind, have the most generous interpretation. What is my most generous interpretation of what's happening? Ask. Don't assume that he is being frugal because X, Y, Z. Ask why.
Right.
The other thing is conversation. Constant conversation about money is important, even if it feels icky. And
it does feel icky. So that's what I struggle with that.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
If you talk about it as a language, it will become more
Less
you'll become
icky.
more fluent in this language. And so I'm not saying like, hey, let's go over our net worth today, even though that's something that I think all couples should do together if they're building a life together. Not every day, but maybe quarterly, twice a year. But just have a conversation about, hey, I was at the store and I was thinking of this, and I decided, yeah, you know what, I'm going to hold off because I think I would really like for us to save to go on our first couples vacation together. It's something just to say. It's not doesn't have to be let's have a money meeting and have a discussion. But that conversation piece is important. And then the last one is connection. Timing is really important when you're going to talk about something that you think that you feel icky about. I mean, I wouldn't, somebody walks in from work and they're stressed out and tired and you say, let's have a conversation about some of the stuff you bought and why. I want to know.
Like I immediately want to punch you in the face.
Yes. But waiting till you are maybe well fed, maybe you guys went for a walk and you want to make a dream sandwich, which is what I call when you talk about, something fun, like, oh my gosh, let's talk about like what a dream vacation would be. Then you sort of talk about the meat, which is the, it's sandwiched in between these fun things. And you say, oh, well, what we would need probably to do? We should probably start saving right now. You know what? Let's XYZ. Let's do an automatic contribution of, $50 into from our bank accounts into a joint savings account every 2 weeks, whatever. And then finish it off with something lovely, which is, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is probably what we could do. And so you're kind of hiding
the ick part in the sandwich.
Part.
It's like the sauce is masking the protein or whatever is on there.
You're talking about great things. At the end of the day, you're talking about shared goals. And like you said, these plans that you make are sexy.
Yeah.
You're like,
they are.
You're making
I'm attracted
together.
to, like, I'm very much of that mindset of like, give me a goal to work towards, because that's also just like in general how I kind of operate my life.
And you're doing it
and
together.
then I'm going to do it. And then with money, if you like have a goal together or you're goal oriented, then you both are willing to like commit to that to reach that, right?
I think it makes you feel more, secure as a couple when you guys have shared
You're
goals.
Aligned, for sure.
You're aligned on something. You might not have the same values about something, but you're saying, hey, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. This is where I'm coming from. But at least we have a goal here that we can agree on. And let's work towards. And yes, there's going to be hiccups. Sorry, I didn't put the $50 this week.
Yeah.
Shoot. Let's move forward and talk about that.
With that, now when you're in a serious relationship, at what point do you kind of really find out what you're getting into? Like, because I have a lot of married friends with many different experiences of like looking at, okay, like how much money do you have here? How much money are you willing to spend like on a wedding or on a house? Like, how do those, is that the same sandwich mentality, or do you actually need to sit down and like see numbers? Because also some people fabricate certain things or will disguise certain things. And this is coming from a woman who doesn't have trust issues, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of want to see it.
Yes, I get it. And, I feel like those, like in any relationship, nothing happens all at once. And so you kind of have to go on this. You have to be okay with going on this journey with someone where you can tease out some of those things. If something is a deal breaker for you, then I would say it. This is a deal breaker for me. But give reasoning behind it. Why is this a deal breaker for me? And to try to understand it yourself. And so there's some research around when you get together, some of the things that people do is you're essentially creating this map of your lives and you're trying to understand each other's map. So I think we should also create money maps. The money map is where you try to figure out, okay, what is my unconscious inheritance? Basically,
What does that mean?
What did I get unconsciously from my family, from my parents when it comes to money? So not actual physical money, but all of the beliefs, all of the behaviors, all of these things that basically drive how I use money today, how I'm successful with money, and trying to understand your partners. So you would figure this out by asking yourself questions and asking your partner these questions, like, what is my earliest money memory? And how does that inform how I behave with money today? What did my family used to say about money? Did they say money was power? And does that make sense now why I work so much? My partner complains about never seeing me. Does it make sense about, he believes money is power, but this is why he uses it to manipulate people. You know, there's a belief, there's emotions behind that belief, which is insecurity or confidence or whatever it is. And then there's this behavior or this pattern. And you're trying to understand your own, because it's going to collide with your partner's. Maybe in a great way, maybe in a really effed up way.
Or maybe in like an understanding way of like how to approach them, or also recognize, not for me.
Yes. Yes.
There's also that.
I have 2 kids now with this dude who, there are a lot of money behaviors where I'm like, oh gosh, not for me. But because I have that understanding piece, I can still feel all of the feels and be upset about it, but I can come at it with a little bit more of my generosity. But I also understand why I feel so icky about it, right? So often I say, what you feel icky about says more about you than what it says about your partner.
Yeah.
So figure out why you feel icky. Like, why are you so turned off?
Totally. I think for me, it's that money like takes away the romanticism of like,
what about money?
A relationship.
Like what part of it? Like talking about it?
Yeah.
Planning? Like breaking down the numbers of like
breaking down numbers.
Okay.
Is definitely where I feel stressed, for sure. I also feel like there's a lot of judgment that comes with that as well. And like, I don't know, when I think of myself, I think I'm in a pretty good position. I think, you know, I definitely am like an attractive candidate, let's just say, of like
you're a catch girl.
Yeah. Thanks, Melissa. But like having a lot to offer, you know, my shit in order. I like own stuff, you know, I don't have debt besides a mortgage and all those types of things. But at the same time, I'm worried that someone's gonna, and this goes, but here's a therapy session, is gonna think that's not good enough. Or there's that part of me that feels like that. And then there's the other part that is, oh, she's too much for me. Like, I really have experienced both.
So you're basically feeling fear of revealing your numbers.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid of how it will be
it's like
perceived.
how many partners you've slept with. Like everyone's afraid to reveal that number, right? It's like, it's kind of the same with revealing your banking numbers.
People are more comfortable talking about sex than they are talking about their bank account statements or their money, for sure. I think that's normal. I really think that's normal for people to feel uncomfortable about that, because money is often taboo in a lot of cultures. Also, it's not just about the dollars and cents. People think, well, we're just talking about money. I'm talking about budgets or debt numbers, but it's not that. You're talking about pride and values and power and control and identity and your family upbringing. There's so much tied to money. And so when you feel a ways about it, that's very normal. But it does, I like where you're going with this is how I feel. I think it has to do with my fear. And then you kind of just do a little bit of exploration. You know, this is just a prompt to ask yourself more questions. Like, why? Why do I feel this way? And can I be open about that? Right? Like, I think, okay, so when you were saying about numbers, opening up numbers, I realized that one of my biggest turnoffs especially when I was younger, still now I don't really like it. I don't like nickel and diming. I don't like when people split bills, even with my friends.
I love this
try to
conversation
split
so
bills.
much. It's an ick. I couldn't agree
it's
with
an
you
ick
more.
for you too.
Me, it's an ick. There's nothing I hate more. I remember I went on a date with a guy and he had said, "Oh, do you want to split the bill?" I was like, "Buddy, I'll pay for the bill." Like, like go fuck yourself. No, like I was like, there's nothing more ick than that. Like, and yeah, same thing. Even my friends and I'd say like we're pretty good where we all know. We actually, you know why? As I'm saying this, I'm realizing this because we all kind of grew up the same financially.
Okay.
It's like the same kind of upbringing and understanding about money and whatnot. So when
know
it comes
why
to a
it's
bill, everybody knows just what to put in, you know?
Okay.
If that makes sense, without asking for it.
Do you know why it feels icky to you?
I don't know.
It's just that expectation of
I think so. It just
what you
feels
grew up
awkward because you know why? You know why, Melissa? Because if I did have more money, I would pay for the bill every time. I would treat my friends. I would treat my family. If I had I have an abundant mindset. It's like if I had it, I would. So I sometimes feel like, I wish that I could treat my family and friends.
Okay, I am going to.
I'm saying all the wrong things.
No,
I'm so scared.
no. You're not saying anything wrong. You're saying things that are just. I love it because you're thinking about it, right? Like you're
not doing it.
No, even if you were to do it, it's action with thought and it's action with intention. And not until you understand or not until you have a little bit more willingness to look at yourself, you're not going to make any changes if you want to make changes. So I love that we're talking about this because now I get to divulge why I wanted to know why you felt icky about it, and I'll tell you why I feel icky about it. I do not like keeping score because as a people pleaser, it's hardwired into me to maintain harmony. And if you're going to constantly nickel and dime, to me, it means you're creating these little micro conflicts. We're always going to have you need to, and I'll just pay. I will pay. Even if I don't have it, I will pay. Mm-hmm. And that also triggers caretaker fatigue. Like I think I'm always taking care of people. And if I'm with somebody who is going to split everything down the middle, I know that I'm always going to be stepping in to pay. And then I also think, oh my gosh, if this person's going to be a little bit more scarce with his money, is he going to be scarce with his emotions? Is there going to be less generosity there? Mm-hmm. And so there's this entire conversation happening in my brain.
That's a lot.
Based on
when the bill lands on the table.
Yes, that is happening. And I need time to slow it down. I may not behave the way that I want to, but at least I'm aware of it.
Totally.
I'm aware of it. And then I can explain to my partner, hey, this is uncomfortable for me. Or I know that this is kind of a deal breaker. We're not a good match, but I understand why.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not because it's not a comment on that person or this person that I'm going on a date with, because maybe he's splitting the bill because he's been hurt. He's protecting himself. He's been taken advantage of. And this is the way that he makes sure that both of us are taken care of in his mind.
Right.
Because it's a completely different person with a different story. And this happened to me last night.
No way.
A girl, my best friend called me at the start of the year. I told myself, you know what? I'm going to book my girls a Airbnb for my birthday.
Wow.
We're going to go away.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
When was your birthday?
It's in April.
Okay.
So I've already booked it.
Okay.
I didn't tell them. They still don't know. They'll find out when they listen to this podcast.
Okay.
But my one of my girls called me last night and she said, hey, I know you always treat, but the girls actually this year would like to treat you.
Aww.
And we want to take you to a cottage.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I didn't like it.
No, because
I felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, let me chip in. I don't want you to pay that. But I was willing to pay for 8 people.
Yeah.
But I didn't want those girls to pay even a fraction of it. But for some reason, it's okay for me to take on the burden.
But it's not.
It's a journey. I have issues. I talk about money. But we're not always going to behave perfectly or based on, best practice. We're human.
For sure.
And this is my humanity. And so you're going to have 2 people with very different Approaches to money, coming together, trying to build a life.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's so interesting. Like, yeah, I sometimes forget because my friends and I have been friends for so many years that we've like grown with our like jobs and whatnot, obviously, that yeah, we're not the type of people that like, there are some people in a dinner, you know, a group dinner, where they will only pay for what they've consumed, right? But like with my friends, I can honestly say the understanding, well, because no one's going to like order something outrageous, you know? And so there's like, again, like a surface level understanding of like, we're all going to drink and eat probably around the same. So we're all going to pitch the exact same. Yeah. That's how we do it.
Have you had a conversation about this?
I don't think so. I don't think that we have.
Would you?
But I would say if one of my friends ever said,
Nicole,
"Oh, like
bring it up.
I didn't have this," I know, right? I didn't have this, so I'm not gonna pitch in for that. Then I would be the one to be like, "Oh, I'll put more than then, like no problem." Like,
I think you should send this to them. I think you should ask. Because
I wonder.
I've had those conversations.
Have you had these conversations with your friends?
Absolutely. I said, I don't want you paying for me because it makes me uncomfortable. And I want to order 10 things.
Yeah.
So let me pay for me.
Yeah.
I've also had friends say, I'm trying to save for my wedding. I can't do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And because we are cognizant of that, we will purposely go to a
then
different
you,
restaurant.
Yeah, you don't put that on the person, that expectation, for sure.
But that doesn't happen unless you have a conversation. You have to say, hey, you know, and there's no judgment. We're not saying, oh, hey, she's so cheap.
Yeah, totally.
She has goals.
Yeah.
And she's not saying, oh, God, I'm broke. It's, I have goals. You love me.
Yeah.
I want you to help me support my goals. And we do.
I was just going to say, and a good friend would, in my opinion, of say, okay, like we're going to do something that doesn't cost money instead. Or we're going to like, how can I help you, you know, reach this goal? Or how do we do a DIY ourselves so that you can, you know, have your nails done, but also let's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Instead of going out, like there's ways to like work around that and support people's goals.
Bring it up
as well.
You have to bring it up. Yeah. We were on a group trip and one of the girls was using, we were going to split everything down the middle when it came to travel. But one person who was ordering the Ubers kept ordering Uber Black. And there was a discussion about why that was being done. And I said, I don't like it. I don't think that's something we need. But
it's like an extra 20, probably more bucks every time that you travel.
The other person believed they needed it because they had big luggage. So they wanted a bigger car. But I said, that doesn't necessarily. Anyways, all I'm saying is bring it up.
Yeah.
Even in a relationship.
How did it end, the conversation, after you brought it up?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. You move on. It can be uncomfortable, but I'm learning to sit with discomfort.
Sitting with discomfort. What a thing. A thing.
Money can be very uncomfortable. So, I mean, that's going to be a given.
Yeah.
Conflict is going to be a guarantee when it comes to money and relationships.
Maybe if you wrap your head around that sooner, then it won't be so bad. Also,
it's going to happen. Conflict is going to happen. Repair, however, may not always happen. That's a skill.
Well, that's why people are afraid of saying it.
Yes, but
probably.
Repair is also a skill that needs to be practiced and learned.
Yeah, 100%.
On that same girl trip, I did have a disagreement with a friend. This sounds like I'm a monster.
You are not a monster.
I did have a disagreement, and she said, I'm sorry you felt that way. And I said, that doesn't feel like an apology.
Wow, that's brave to say that.
Well, to me, that's not an apology.
I know. I hate when people say that to me. I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, no, you're not sorry. That's like you completely still not validating how I feel. Right? Yeah.
And so with money, part of those conversations is if you've done something that you think has caused harm, part of this apology is, you know, having curiosity, trying to understand the other person's point of view, and then acknowledging
taking accountability for sure,
and then saying that what you do differently, or what you might not do differently if you don't agree, but being honest about it.
Yeah, that's tough. But if you, again, like for me, like I love my friends, as I'm sure you do, like you work on that, you know, or because you love the person. So in my mind anyway, it's as simple as that, but sometimes I know it isn't.
I mean, ego gets involved and you feel like, oh, if you loved me, you would X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
If you love me, you would pay for this.
Oh,
If you
no, that says,
just we tell ourselves all sorts of stories. So.
don't we? Okay, so Melissa, I gotta ask you then, what are like your biggest red flags? What should someone like look out for if, they're having a conversation with someone, whether it be like romantic or with a family member or a friend that screams run?
Okay, I'm going to name 4.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The first one is financial infidelity. If you are
What does that
keeping
mean?
secrets.
Oh, secrets.
If you are lying about purchases or your debt or your behavior, or you are just not divulging all the information, that can often feel like real betrayal to people. My husband, he bought this. He has many games in our basement. But the very
What
first
kind of games?
Arcade games.
Okay, cool.
Expensive arcade games.
Yeah, those aren't cheap for sure.
Oh, geez. So anyways, something died inside of me when I said that, because when I think about it, I shrivel up.
It gives you anxiety. I'm sorry.
The first time he bought an expensive game, he lied to me about it. He said it cost like 3 times less than it actually cost. And when I eventually found out, I freaked out, but mostly because of the lying.
Yeah.
I was upset about the money,
For sure.
and he wanted to avoid that because he knew Melissa, scarcity mindset, refuses to spend money on anything. Me,
So if I
wanna
lower a
spend money
little
on
bit,
lots.
then she'll be a little bit more understanding.
Maybe,
and,
but if it comes out, you're going to be in deep trouble.
it's way worse.
So if you find that that's happening, that's a red flag. The other thing is bad habits, really destructive bad habits. Like
What are bad habits?
gambling?
Yes, bad habit.
Money addiction, excessive spending, compulsive spending on things when you don't have money, accruing a lot of debt. Gambling nowadays can take the form of meme coins, cryptocurrency.
Sports betting is
Absolutely.
so prevalent.
So
the other day, a friend of mine who teaches high school, was saying that somebody in high school, like a kid who was under the age, but was like sports gambling, like with his parent. And I was like, that is not.
I mean, they've gamified it
Yes,
so much that it
yes,
just feels like
yes.
playing online.
Yeah,
it's
wild.
It's a game, except you are getting addicted. You're getting addicted to the.
And that's the thing is
the
like I'm not
dopamine rush.
like when I mean I don't go to a casino often, but like if I go to Niagara Falls or if I go to Vegas, like I'm gonna play a game, but I also know my limit, and I don't do this every day. I walk in being like, okay, I'm prepared to lose this much money. And this is how I won't be upset if this happens for the game and thrill of it.
I think that it's a huge red flag because addiction is a serious problem.
Yeah,
and it's
it
not
is.
easily solved.
No.
It requires, there's nothing you can't, here, I'm doing air quotes. So if you're listening on the podcast, you can't fix someone.
No.
That requires
and it can
a lot.
destroy not only
destroy
like
your
say
life.
your relationship, but so many other relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something to pay attention to. The other thing, the third one is power imbalances, power issues. Because
Oh, I
people
want to
use-
talk about this.
Right. People use money, even if they're not intending to, but to wield power. And so if somebody is saying, this is my money, not your money, if they are manipulating you with money, if they're controlling you with money, that can be financial abuse. So and it can even take in forms of even maybe somebody makes more money and they are not handling that very well in the relationship, or you make less, or just that can lead to resentment. It can lead to a lot of conflict. So it's something to catch early on and make sure that you have open discussion about it.
For sure.
I have one more.
Okay, tell me.
This one though, it's not. I'd say it's more of like a yellow blinking light than a red flag.
Okay.
It is value differences. If your values around money are very different, it can cause a lot of problems. You just have to go the extra mile to talk about it. If you guys have completely different goals for your lives, your resources, your time, your money, big problem.
Yeah.
Right? If something feels, I don't want to move to the city because it's way too expensive. That's not my thing. It's like that's a value that becomes very, very entrenched, difficult to overcome.
Right. that's ingrained in someone. You can't change that about someone.
So you have to be willing to either overlook it or somebody has to compromise.
Right.
Sorry, I'm kicking things.
Not at all. That's the tricky part is you can't also make someone be willing to compromise.
No, and
or meet you.
And you have to compromise when it comes to money because there's going to be so many differences. There's going to be so many expectations. And there's lots of changes. You go on a journey. I tell this to everyone. Just because you guys set a rule maybe early on in your relationship around money doesn't mean that you can't revisit it.
For sure.
2 weeks from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. You just say, hey, you know what? We thought this was fair, but let's talk about it again.
Mm-hmm. Circumstances change every day.
Absolutely.
Whether you're moving, your family's growing, someone loses a job, things happen all the time. I want to go back and talk about the power thing because I have a theory.
I want to hear it.
I'm going to get yelled at for this. I think with a majority of men, I will say as a blanket statement, majority of men are uncomfortable with women who make more money than them.
Do you have a question there?
Is there a question there? Tell me what you think.
I think
it's a historical thing. Hear me out.
I was going to say, no, I don't disagree with you. I think because it's a patriarchy.
Yeah.
And there are expectations put on males in a traditional role.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a narrative that it can be emasculating. That's fed to them from early on, and messages that they get from society, even from their friends. My husband is somebody who I believe to be very progressive. I think he's a feminist, but he comes home and talks about all the things that the guys say in the locker room at hockey, and we often kind of go, ooh, people are still saying that in 2026? Yes, because we still make less money for the same job, and yes, because we're not invited to the C-suite as often, and yes, the reality is that women who make more money than men, women who are the primary breadwinners, they still do the vast majority of the housework. They still take much of the caregiving role when it comes to children. There's some studies that show that the more women make, the more housework they do.
Which I've read that as well, and that is like mind-boggling to me. I'm like, how is that
aspect to it? And there's that
like I need to make him feel like I can also be this woman so that he doesn't feel
emasculated
threatened.
Because that's what society says.
Ah,
there are no change tables in men's washrooms.
Oh my God, I never thought of that.
Why?
That's so true.
My husband and I both were at home, so he would take the kids all the time. But he was always complaining about, I have nowhere to change them.
Wow. And it's 2026 and you had kids years ago.
Yes, I have a 10 and a 6-year-old.
Because 10 and 6,
I don't think it's changed.
And it hasn't changed. Then. Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't been in their bathroom.
If someone knows of a men's washroom that has a change table, I need to come and take a photo of it. That would be awesome.
Brilliant. Well, I think they would say you have to go in like a wheelchair. Like it's not just in the men's bathroom. You'd have to go to like the independent stall whatever.
How often do they have it?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't think I've ever thought of that before. That's bullshit.
Maybe it's more common now. I'm hoping that it is. Well, they have more unisex bathrooms now, so, gender neutral bathrooms. Maybe they have more change tables. I don't know. Somebody tell me. Can somebody message me on Instagram and tell me?
Somebody tell us, please. Because I don't know. That's like a thing when you're dating is I think and I can understand or I've seen a lot of men think that they want a powerhouse woman who, has a job, CEO, COO on her title. And yet when they get a woman like that, they simply screw it up royally because they literally cannot handle her being busy, her, buying things because she can without asking for permission or asking for help or, or paying for dinner. It's so strange to me because I wish we were, closer to a place where men could really celebrate that more instead of feeling threatened or emasculated by it. And yeah, this is for all the women raising young boys. Let's raise them to think that way, because
Have different conversations for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even amongst girlfriends, having those conversations has always been interesting. And I would say, just to play devil's advocate, I would say that the majority of my girlfriends have they have partners who are equal partners. I have a lot of girlfriends who are the primary breadwinners in their household. And I would say the conflicts that they have are not necessarily about power in the same way that we think they are, but they still have conflict about different things, right? But I find that interesting. I do find that interesting. I need to think about that more.
I've planted a seed. Yeah, it's fascinating to me for sure. Now, one of the things that you are, I don't know if you're currently doing or you've done already, you said you're writing a children's book.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes.
Because children and money is a whole other, I mean, it's a whole other podcast, really.
Absolutely. But it does stem from you and your partner. I mean, we talk about being on the same page for religion when it comes to raising kids. You kind of want to be sort of on the same page for money because it creates a lot of conflict. You know, one parent wants to treat their kids, spoil their kids. The other parent thinks that that's the worst thing ever. You're raising entitled bastard, whatever.
Yeah,
you know, just
totally.
And so having those kinds of discussions is important. And my book actually stemmed from a discussion that was, you know, in our car. My husband wanted to splurge on something on vacation, and I didn't want to. And my son in the back seat said, "That's because mommy is cheap."
Oh, no.
Well, he's not wrong, but I would say fiscally responsible. But to my husband's credit, because we've had so many of these conversations, he defended me. So rather than say, "Yeah, mommy,"
That's a good husband.
he said, "Actually, mommy is just trying to make sure that we have money for all the things that we think are important. She just doesn't think this is important. But I think this is important. This is a value difference." And so my kid's book is about a quote unquote cheap little bird. I basically wrote an autobiography, but now I'm a bird. But it's to help families have that discussion about the value of what you're spending your money on. It's not about like yes or no. It's about, is this valuable? Is this worthwhile to you? And guess what? What's worthwhile to you may not be worthwhile to another person. And that's okay. If he wants to fill his whole closet with sneakers, that's okay. As long as you guys,
as long as you're okay with it.
About it.
Exactly. How do your kids think about money, or what do you think they think about money?
They are totally different.
Are they?
I don't know what happened. I think you are born with a certain disposition, and one is the person who hoards all of their Halloween candy for a year.
Wow.
And then the other one eats it in a week.
That's
right?
so funny.
One of them inventories all of it, and the other one is like, whatever, just eat all my favorites at the start, right? So
wow.
I don't know how that happened. But obviously my kids talk about money a lot.
That's good.
They talk about money a lot.
It's good, and it's healthy. And they're going to be like set up for success. I continuously say, like, I wish there were more courses in like high school or even elementary school that teach this sort of thing of like what it means. Like I wish I had that in high school. I feel like that should be banking, like 101, you know?
I mean, that's changing.
Yeah.
But what's not changing and what will never change is most of what you learn about money and how you are successful with money, how you save, spend, borrow, and invest. It's kind of based on what you learned at home.
Yeah.
And the lessons that you learned growing up. So you and your partner, the way you fight about money, that is the voice that your children will hear when they are making money decisions when they're older.
Think about that every time you have an argument.
Yes, or at least have the argument, but repair in front of the kids.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's something that stays with them. Okay, Melissa, when does your book come out?
Oh, so it's an illustration right now. It's
Oh,
being
I love
illustrated.
that. So
And so it'll
exciting.
come out next year.
Yay. That's very exciting.
I'm
Oh,
very
that sounds
excited.
fun. We're going to play a little game.
I love games.
Okay. We're going to do, we talked about icks on the show.
Yes.
And we're going to do the ooh.
Ick or ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So ick is bad. Ooh is good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, here we go. They keep receipts. Ooh. Me too.
Well, why did you say ooh?
I like it. Like, because for me, well, I keep receipts all the time because I write things off. I'm like a sole proprietor. So like
Right.
I think it's like you're organized. You know what you're spending.
Right. So you think, you're
Yeah.
sexy, you're
Yeah,
ambitious.
totally.
As opposed to, ew, you're, now your jacket's filled with crunchy papers because you're.
Yeah. No. I like the
I like
crunchy
it too.
papers. We
I
like
like
the
it too.
crunchy papers. Okay. They tip generously.
Ooh.
Ooh, me too. I was afraid to say that in front of you. I worked as a bartender waitress. So that's where my tipping generously comes from, where I appreciate someone that like provides a good service. And so I want them to feel like they did a good job.
Yeah.
That's how I
my
think
family
of
ran
it.
a restaurant. So
Yeah.
we appreciate
Yeah.
that. But I do know other people, like my mom, she is full out ick. So I actually hide.
Really?
Yeah. Oops. I hope my mom doesn't watch this podcast. I will hide the receipt. Like I will write a tip.
So that she doesn't see
that
what
she
you
doesn't
tipped.
see. Yeah.
Really? Well, in a lot of, it's also like a cultural thing. Like a lot of Europeans say like, don't tip because it's just included in the bill. They're like, no, we went to dinner, we paid for it. Like I don't need to tip on top of that.
I don't think that's what's going through my mom's head. But anyways, that for me is a ooh.
I love your mom. Your mom I also met and she's an angel. So, okay. They split the bill 50-50.
Ick.
Ick. Massive ick
No.
for me.
Just can't.
Can't do it.
On
a date, there's nothing more ick.
But I get it. I do get it. I get it. My initial reaction is to ick, but that doesn't mean it's a deal breaker because dating is expensive.
I know.
You work for an hour and then you spend it on a single drink, and then the date maybe lasts like 30 minutes because you're like, yeah, listen, I'm not feeling it. So you can't just keep doing that. So I understand the idea of like, guys, listen, hey, you buy your drink, I buy my drink. Let's just talk it out because the real connection is going to come in this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
You're a better person than I am.
I'm okay with it. I know about rising costs.
They order your food or plan all of your dates. Ooh.
Oh.
You know why? Because, okay, so this is my theory of why I feel this way.
Okay.
Because I just had this conversation with someone. Because I am the doer and planner in my job day to day. I constantly plan, organize people, tell people what to do, book things constantly. That in a relationship, for me, I want to take more of the back seat and be like, please handle it for me. Because that is like the last thing that I want to do. So
in the last 10 years, it has become an ooh. So on the weekend when I went for dim sum, my friends ordered everything and I was like, do it. I can't.
Yeah.
I have the mental load is real. So I have fatigue. But when for almost my entire life, somebody else doing that was a power play. And it was major ick. Like if you tried to order my meal or if you tried to
for sure
plan something, like we're doing this and not like, ooh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun. It's like, I plan this.
Yeah.
It would really upset me.
Context matters for sure.
Because I was also a control freak too. So I just thought,
yeah. You're like,
no,
okay, no,
you
I don't want
can't
to
tell
do
me
what
what
you
to
do.
do.
Yeah,
I do what I wanna
100%.
do.
I get that. I fully get that. Okay, they're obsessed with crypto. I don't think it's bad. Is it bad?
I say nothing. Did you ooh? Is that a ooh for you?
That's an ooh. I'm going, ooh.
Okay.
Nothing?
I
think
would
obsessed is a loaded word. It depends how obsessed.
Yes. Right now I feel ick but that's because I am risk averse.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's also very trendy. Everyone talks about it all the time. It's like
I'm risk averse and I find that a lot of crypto is very volatile.
Yes.
And so I get that ick feeling.
For sure.
But my husband is into crypto, but he has done so in a way that, okay, listen, we've taken care of our other priorities. We're saving money here. This is my play money.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever
Totally.
I want. And if I want to put it on a coin that's named after poop, I'm going to. And I'm fine with that, dude. We've already had a discussion about X number of dollars you can spend on whatever you want. Don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fair. They post about their donations. Ick.
I don't know. I kind of feel meh about it.
I think it's fine to say that you're donating somewhere, but I think if you tell like a number, it's like, ugh.
I find not the number icky. I find the posting icky.
Really? Oh, because it's like you're bragging the fact that you're like giving. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm a very private person, and my husband is probably one of the most generous people that I've ever met, and he tells nobody. He doesn't tell anyone.
I love that.
He doesn't say, "Hey, I'm late because, somebody got into a car accident and I decided to stop and help." My son told me. He's like, "Sorry, we're late because dad had to da-da-da-da-da-da." But he didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So it's just, you don't have to always say unless you're trying to prove something. And
That's
a lot of people use money
to prove something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they want to look a certain way. That's why you have the flashy car.
Totally.
Right? I mean, a question that you ask that I like to ask myself and my friends is, if nobody would ever see it, would you buy it?
Oh. That's a good question.
You can't post. You can't post it. No one's ever going to see it. Would you still buy that thing?
I love that. That's a good one. Reflection. They have a closet full of sneakers or shoes.
Ooh.
That's a new for me too. Because I am possibly that person. I could be. Yeah. I have a couple of really nice shoes. Not all really nice shoes.
Yeah. So my ooh is dependent on the fact that you decided you liked it and then decided to spend your money on it.
Totally. If it's on a nice shelf, you're taking care of it.
You value it. You've been thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
If you have a closet full of shoes, but then you tell me that you need a little bit of money to top up your credit card bill, that is full out. Like, I'm not even going to say ick. I'm just going to leave.
Yeah. Bye. That's red flag. Bye. Running with the shoes out of your door. Yeah. Makes sense.
I mean, debt is very common. So you're going to run into that.
Okay. Last one. They only order water on dates to save money. Ick.
I say ooh.
Oh, no, Melissa.
I do that. Don't ick me.
I'm sorry, I'm icking you, but I love you.
I do that, yes.
I get it.
But it's a journey for me. I'm trying to learn to order the thing that I want.
We need to hang out more, and I will teach you.
And I will be uncomfortable.
And then you're going to teach me to be more frugal.
I'll be learning to be a better person. No, I mean, I don't want people to be more frugal. I want people to be more mindful.
Yeah. Aware.
I just aware. Like, you work so hard for your money.
I know.
Make sure that you're taking some time to can you back up whether or not what you spent on was like really in line with your values and your happiness? Like, you say that you're a certain person, you say that you're somebody who like really wants to find love, but maybe you're spending all your money in this other place. Or maybe you're saying, you know what, I don't want to spend money on finding love right now. I want to spend money working on me. Then are you spending your money on that? Are you signing up for classes, to meet people? Like, there are other ways. There are other ways to quote unquote buy happiness. You just have to decide.
Do you think that money can buy happiness? That's another podcast on this.
It does.
In this
it
network.
does buy happiness.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, it has a ceiling, and it's very nuanced, the discussion, but it does buy happiness. But there are a lot of money can make people very unhappy as well.
Totally.
So, more money conversations with yourself and with your partner couldn't hurt.
This was really helpful. I feel like there's very introspective, of like questions you ask yourself before you purchase something or you go somewhere or you feel the ick, like ask yourself why. I think those are really important to consider as you, whether it's like a relationship with yourself that you're working on in your own relationship with money or with somebody else, whether that be romantic or friends or family.
For sure. I think people think that, to be better with money, I just need to learn more, get my financial literacy up, or, get a budget or start investing. But those are all great. That doesn't mean you're going to follow all of the rules you've set for yourself, because as a human, there are so many other factors to how you are successful with money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being more curious with your partner and with yourself, that can be a way to be better with money.
Thanks so much, Melissa, for this and all your wisdom. Where can people find you, ask you questions, watch you, all the things?
I can only manage one social media account.
One is a lot, okay? One is a lot.
I love to connect with people on Instagram, and most of my money information about happiness is consolidated in my book, Happy Go Money. So
fantastic. And it's available
everywhere where you can buy books.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you again.
Thank you.